It's review time. Well, I wouldn't say a review, but let's just say it's an initial first impression. This was an impulse buy. It was an impulse buy because I walked into Home Depot, as I usually do about once a week. I go to their clearance section or just see what they're trying to push out, and they had this thing, which, well, you know what it is if you're looking at the video. Ryobi Brushless 40-volt lithium 20-inch self-propelled lawnmower. So, let's just dig into first impressions. This isn't a cut quality. This is nothing like that. This is just a first impression, thoughts, initial thoughts. I say mow my backyard. I did running through my backyard. It's Texas. My Bermuda is dormant. It's January. There really isn't much to cut. I did cut a little bit off the top. And once again, it's dormant grass, but it performed flawlessly. But that's not the real test. The real test will come in springtime, late springtime, summertime, when the grass is thick Bermuda grass, and it cuts it. So it's a little bit of backstory. I bought this. I got it at a very discounted rate. Is the reason it's here. Personally, I don't see myself using this long term, but I don't know. I really just got it from my dad. He's mowing my grandmother's yard, and they needed something to where they could possibly store indoors, store in the garage without the gas fumes and dealing with the gas. So I walked into Home Depot, like I said, they had it on clearance. Just just to give you a little bit of info, I got the mower, I got the charger. You only see one battery there. I did get two batteries. One's a 5 amp hour, and then the other one is a 2.6 amp hour and the bagger. So I did score all of this, and just to get you a feeling for what I kind of paid for it, I paid less for this, all of this, what you see here, than what it costs to buy a brand new 5 amp hour battery. And I think they're going for, I think it's either 149 or 129 for a 5 amp hour battery. I paid considerably less for everything you see here. So that's why you see it here. But let's just jump into it real quick. First thoughts, first impressions. It's a quality mower. Let's lay it down here. So it's a real quality mower. It's plastic. You already know that. But it seems like it's a good overall build. I don't see any issues there. It's a hard plastic, so it's not real cheap. So I think the build quality is good. The cut quality, this isn't a cut quality video, but I think the cut quality, I don't know yet. I think it'll be good, but I don't want to say it's going to be great and it's not. So I think it'll be good. Overall value for what I paid for it can't be beat. But I think the price tag on these are $3.99. Don't hold me to it. $3.99 is steep for what you're getting. I think it's not a bad price point. I just think $3.99 can get you a heck of a gasoline lawnmower. But let's back up here. I think people are getting into these to not have to worry about the gas, not have to worry about the maintenance. And let's be honest, me personally, there's not much maintenance that goes into a gas lawnmower. Nothing that I can't handle. And I've never had any issues with ethanol and storage. I always use some type of stable, and the thing fires right back up in spring. So I don't personally have any issues, but I can definitely see the benefits of going to a battery operated lawnmower. One, maintenance free. There's no gas. There's no fumes to deal with. I mean, it's simply charge and go. So that part can't be beat. Second is the noise reduction. Guys, I ran this thing just to test it in my yard at 9 o'clock at night, and it simply sounds like a big, not even a shop fan, like a big box fan that that's all the noise that you get out of this thing. It can't be beat. You can mow, and no one's ever going to know that you're mowing outside. So I think it's great. So let's just show you what it is. Once it's folded up right now, so and you saw it standing upright. Storage factor. I mean, you put this thing up against a wall and it doesn't take up any room. So it's folded right now. So simply, you're going to take these levers here, and I'm just using one hand. You're going to pull it, lock it out like that. Do the same on this side. Pull it, lock it out like that, and you're simply just gonna pull this up. It has two spots where you can lock it in for the angle of the handle. So I'm just gonna lock it in. Lock it in here. That's simple. That's simple. And then what you're also gonna do is you have two of these right here. So before I do this, I'm kind of jumping in and out, but it's got a safety feature on here where this mower won't start if the handle is folded. There's a red button there that once you open this up, you know, it presses in that lever, but it still won't start without the handle actually telescoping up. So there's a safety feature. And then another safety feature is this key right here, which is good and bad. It's good because if you pull this key out, this mower will not start. So changing a blade, tipping the mower on its side, or whatever you're trying to do, this mower will not start without this key in here. Doesn't matter if the handle is pulled up all the way or not, and with a battery in it, thing won't start. So that's pretty neat. Just don't lose this key. So put that key in there. Close it up. There's my 5 amp hour battery. It does have another spot for storage of another battery, which is my 2.6. Throw that in there. Pretty neat. Now you do have to swap the batteries out once this one runs out. You know, it's just simple. Just pull it out and put the new one in on this side. This side right here is the side that uses the battery. This side is just storage, so not an issue at all there. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll pull this handle all the way up. And actually, here, I'll just show you. Okay, so the handle is folded back. If you try to start this thing, which basically pull and press, pretty neat, won't start. But it's as simple as pulling this up, lock, lock, guess what? Pull it down, lights come on, listen to this. You're running, not loud at all. The lights, I will say, those lights are pretty nice at nighttime. It definitely illuminates your pathway, and you can definitely see what you're cutting. So, you know, I think it's a good mower. Initial impressions. I'm trying to think of some pluses and minuses just right off the back. Plus, this sucker is self-propelled. You have your self-propelled speed, minimum and maximum. I will say, this thing, it'll move pretty fast. I mean, it will take off fast. Neat feature is you can use the self-propelled without engaging the blade. Yeah, it moves, guys. I don't see anyone ever mowing at that speed, but you can lower it there. Let's see here. Maybe a negative is a lot of people say, oh, it looks cheap with the wire like this. Well, yeah, I guess it does. They're comparing it to the Ego, where it's the wiring is wrapped. Okay, it looks a little cheap, but you know that doesn't bother me at all. Trying to think. Overall, I don't really have too many negatives. I will say it does not have a side discharge, so that may be an issue for some. Won't be for me. Once again, I don't know if I'm gonna necessarily keep this mower. It's more for my dad. but it does not have a side discharge. It mulches and then it bags. Um, Probably another negative, which obviously the mower is plastic, but the bagger rests on these two hooks. These hooks are molded plastic, heavy duty plastic, but it's just, it's plastic. So long term, I don't know. You know, you get some heavy grass in that bag. I don't know. I think it'll be all right, but over time, questionable. So 40 volt lithium, we touched on that. This is the brushless one, brushless, self-propelled once again. I did get the 2 batteries. So let's just go over 2 things here. If you were to buy this new, you can get it in a couple different variations. You can get the self-propelled with 1 battery, which is the 5 amp hour. I'll turn that around. And then they also sell this model self-propelled with the 2 5 amp hour batteries, which I don't know the price point on there, but you know, it is 40 volt, yes. Cobalt has an 80 volt, yes. Ego has a 56 volt, yes. So voltage wise, it is lacking. Guys, voltage is not everything, and I won't get into it about the voltage and this and that, but let's just say this is a 5 amp hour battery with the 40 volts, and if you do your research and you look into it, I will say, so this is 180 watt hours and 5.0 amp hours. So just something to consider. 180 watt hours on that 5 amp hour battery, and they did throw in, Home Depot did throw in this 2.6 amp hour battery, which I don't know how well it's gonna work, but it's a 95 watt hour at 2.6 amp hours. So I don't know if this one truly, I know it works with this mower, I just don't know if it's intended to be used with this mower, to tell you the truth. That's just something I gotta dig into, but I'm not gonna turn down a free battery that Home Depot threw in. So yeah, let's see here, trying to make the video short and to the point. Height adjustment is 1 lever. They're claiming 1.5 inches all the way to 4 inches, and it's as simple as pulling this lever and lifting up or down. It's easy, nothing easier than that. Trying to think of what else. Okay, let's you know what, just for safety first, for all you safety people out there, let's take this key out of here. Don't lose it though. Okay, let's tip this thing on its side, because I do have I have 2 other negatives about this thing, but one big one, which, okay, so the blade, I don't know if it's a big deal or not, but I will say the blade on this mower, to me, seems flimsy. I mean, can you see that? So there is a nick in this blade. By the way, well, here, let me just show you this. It's flimsy. It has a lot of flex in it. I will say that about this blade. I did register this product. Neat feature if you didn't know. Once you register, Ryobi did give me an option for a free replacement blade. So they're sending me a new blade for free. So, you know, this one's nicked. It'll get sharpened, but the blade, you know, the blade is a little bit flexible for my taste. So that's one kind of big thing for me. Once you get into the thicker stuff, thicker grass, just seeing the cut quality. Haven't seen it yet, but let's just, you know, down the road, I don't know how that's going to work, how it's going to perform. Let's pull this thing back. Another negative. So battery runtime on the 5 amp hour battery, which it also depends on your grass type, wet grass, thickness of grass. A lot of people just don't have lush, thick lawns, so they can probably squeeze a little bit more time out of this mower and this battery. I think they're claiming anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes cut time. Don't hold me to it, but I think that's probably what you can expect 45 minutes I think is probably on the high side. I think that's the most you can get out of it. I mowed my backyard and I only used one bar out of here, and my backyard is a little over 4,000 square feet. So, but once again, it was dormant Bermuda, so is what it is. And I did use the self-propelled function. So, but let's just get back to it. I think 45 minutes is probably on the high side, the most you'll probably get out of here. I could be wrong, but I think that's probably to be expected, 45 minutes. I think you could probably even see times of, you know, I hate to say it, but maybe 15, 20 minutes, just depending on how hard you're working this thing. It did ramp up a few times. If the blade is spinning on low speed, that's fine. But once it starts ramping up and using that power, I think you can probably see 15, 20 minutes. I don't know. I hope that's not the case, but you never know. So runtime, I don't think is a it's not an issue. However, it is an issue. And why I say that for this mower is the charger. Okay, guys, this is another negative, just right off the back. I haven't fully drained this battery, so I don't know, but I've done a lot of research on this Ryobi mower. The charge time is a big flaw. Let me back up. It's not a flaw. It's a major concern. The charge time, people are saying anywhere from an hour and a half to 3 hours, which is, it's pretty wide spectrum, but at minimum, I've been reading an hour and a half charge time to fully charge a 5 amp hour battery, and I've been reading sometimes maybe 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours on top of that. And I've also read that if this battery gets hot, you're waiting 45 minutes for it to cool down before it charges. Guys, that's impactful when you have to wait that long to charge a battery. Now, if you got two of these batteries, not a problem, right? I mean, you should be able to knock out a decently sized yard with two of these batteries. I think you'll be fine. But when you start getting into, well, thicker grass and really bogging this thing down, and you're running through two batteries, you're gonna run through both of your batteries before you get a chance to charge them up. So that's huge. This charger isn't what they call a rapid quick charger like the Cobalt mower has and the Ego mower has. And on top of that, this charger doesn't have, I don't know how well the fan works on those chargers, the Cobalt and the Ego, but I do know that the charger has a fan on it that is supposedly cooling either the battery or the charger itself. This Ryobi does not have a fan, so I've read a lot about these batteries getting hot and it taking up to 45 minutes for it to cool down before it charges, and then you're looking at an hour and a half to 3 hour charge time. That's the major flaw of this mower. I think that's probably the really only flaw of this thing. But once again, if you have two batteries, I don't think it's an issue. I think if you plan accordingly and have them both charged, realistically, you should be able to knock out an average size city yard with this mower without an issue. So there it is. Overall bang for the buck. I think if you can catch this thing on sale, I think it's nice. I think it's sleek looking. It's definitely different. But a lot of people don't want that maintenance of gasoline, and they don't want maybe the loudness of a regular mower. So overall value, I think it's good if you can catch it on sale. $3.99. Once again, just depends on your budget, what you're looking at. A lot of people are raving about the Ego, but man, that Ego mower, you know what? Honestly, that Ego may be $3.99 nowadays. I'm not sure. I know the self-propelled is not $3.99, but I think the regular push mower may be $3.99. If that's the case, well, you just gotta kind of figure out: do you want the self-propelled or do you want to push it? I will say self-propelled on this mower works, and it works really well. You don't break a sweat at all. So, initial impressions. Trying to keep this short, but overall, just wanted you to see what the mower looked like. And, if I still have it and I didn't give it to my dad, come springtime, I'll do a cut impression on thick Bermuda grass and we'll go from there. Anyways, I just had to post a video. I hadn't posted in a while, and I got this at a steal of a deal. Once again, I paid less for this thing than one 5 amp hour battery. So, anyways, just want to touch base with you guys. Hope y'all have a good one.